Oh yes, my Straight Dog family, it is time for me to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis. It is time for me to say good night to the entire Caribbean region, and it is time for me to also say good night to the world, because we are heard all over the world on the World Wide Web. And I want to say a send special greetings to all my Kittitian and Nevision brothers and sisters and Kittitian and Nevision family, wherever you are on the globe. Some of you are in Africa. There are some of you in Asia. There are some of you in Europe. You stay up late nights, early mornings to get up to date with Straight Talk, and we thank you for that. And for all of you, a whole lot of you who are all over North America. And each program we have new listeners, so I'm obliged to inform you that if you're here for the first time, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And let us in the process continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis, or try, I should take that back. Let us try to get back, revert St. Kitts and Nevis to becoming once again one of the freest countries in the world, because we have lost that status, especially in most recent times. And my Straight Dog family, we as well try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And I learned today, on a solemn note, I learned this morning rather, of the passing of one of my former colleagues in the Water Services Department. I must say, Elmo Stevens, young Elmo Stevens. I understand that he has gone to the great beyond. Elmo from Connery, he used to be in the what we call it, it's the water treatment section of the Water Services Department, and I was really taken aback when I heard of his passing. But I want to extend personal condolences to his entire family, Connery family, and trust that you would hold up well, and just remember that death is a process. We do have, for the first time, we do have our normal observations in review, as the time when we highlight the issues and we do some reflection. We then ask a few questions, such as what was accomplished since our last discussion, how has it helped others, what has changed since, and what can be expected next. Also, what new we have learned as a people, because it's all a continuing process. We try to improve. It's a continuing professional development in particular. And my Straight Dog family, my first observation takes me back about 5 weeks ago. And you would recognize by now, for each program, I have a tagline. For each of my dissertations, each of my theses, I should say, I think that's correct, I publish a title. And about 5 weeks ago, on Thursday, the 12th of January to be exact, I published my tagline for that show, which read, "Let's investigate navigate a true story. And lo and behold, about 5 o'clock the said afternoon, I was served with an ex parte injunction filed at the instance of one Garth Lucian Wilkin. Did you hear me, my Street Dog family? I said I was served with an ex parte injunction filed at the instance of Garth Lucian Wilkin. I explained then what is an ex parte injunction, and for those who are new and for those who do not recall, it is an order made by the court when the person applying for the injunction has asked for a hearing without informing the other side that he or she is even going to the court. I repeat it. An ex parte injunction is an order made by the court when the person applying for the injunction has asked for a hearing without informing the other side that he or she is even going to the court. In other words, I was not informed that Garth Lucian Wilkin and his counsel was going to the court to apply for an injunction. My Straight Talk family, I told you then as well that my lawyer will deal with the injunction at the earliest opportunity. And he did. But my Straight Talk family, I will confess that the past 5 weeks were at times frustrating, especially when I thought about my fundamental rights and freedom, which are guaranteed by our Constitution. But they were suppressed by a young man, many years my junior, in business, in politics, and or in government. My freedom and my rights and my freedom was suppressed by this young man who for the last 6 months has continued to display a sense of youthful exuberance mixed with arrogance as the Federation's principal legal advisor. Who is obviously an officer of the court. But he seemed to have forgotten that he has an overriding duty to the standards of his profession and to the public. He obviously, in the process, my Straight Dog family, overlooked the fact that he who comes to justice must come to her with clean hands. My freedom of expression was taken away for the last 5 weeks. And my Straight Dog family, as I said, guaranteed by our Constitution, the supreme law of St. Kitts and Nevis. And if we just pull your Constitution and refer to Section 12, subsection 1, it reads, and I said, as I said, except with his own consent, a person shall not be hindered in the enjoyment of his freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions without interference, freedom to receive ideas and information without interference, freedom to communicate ideas and information without interference, whether the communication is to the public generally or to any person or class of persons, and freedom from interference with his correspondence. But I know, my Straight Dog family, we are all excited about tonight's program. But all I wish to say tonight, my Straight Dog family, is freedom of expression in St. Kitts and Nevis is alive and well. And the separation of powers still exists. A few weeks ago, I could not even use the word navigate, much less to investigate a true story. But tonight, my Straight Dog family, I am just going to say, to God be the glory, great things he has done. Yes, God is the absolute judge. And I thank him from the bottom of my heart. I thank my legal team, in particular, lead counsel Peter Foster, Kessie, and instructing counsel Terry Byron. I thank all of you who prayed for me and continue to pray for me and sent me words of encouragement. I can assure you, your support in whatever form meant so much to me. I just beg you one more favor. One more favor. We are going to discuss this matter on Monday in its entirety. And I want you to spread the word far and wide. Spread the word all over St. Kitts and Nevis. Spread the word all over the Caribbean and all over the world, especially in the Kittitian and Nevian diaspora. Because we are now free to speak the truth. My restraining order was discharged, vacated. No longer am I muzzled. No longer am like a horse or a mule held with a bit and a bridle, lest they will come near me. So we are now free to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. My Straight Dog family, as uncomfortable as the truth may seem to some people, I submit everybody has a right to know. So come Monday, we are going to discuss this Nanigate story. We are going to discuss the issues surrounding this Nanigate story that I was forbidden to speak about. I'm not going to. I never had an intention then to defame anyone. Suffice to just add, my Straight Dog family, I'm normally a humble man. I reflect many moments, many days on some inspirational Bible verses. And one that came to mind before I went live on this show comes from some part in the Bible. I can't even remember. I'm not really too good like some people to remember books and chapters and verses and so on. But I remember the exact verses. And this one says that he that humbleth himself shall be exalted, and he that exalteth shall be abased. So that's my first observation tonight, and I want you again, I beg you this favor. We are going to discuss the matter with this injunction and restraining order in its entirety on Monday. I want you to spread the word from now until Monday. Spread the word far and wide. Spread the word all over St. Kitts and Nevis. For those who don't have access to the Wi-Fi and depended on Win FM radio, try to get your neighbors to come to your home or your business. Put on your smart TV and find me on YouTube so we can have this discussion. Because, as I said, I am now free to speak the truth, as I always speak the truth. And I will speak the whole truth and nothing but the truth. My Stray Dog family, my second observation relates to what I call the NRP internal feud, which seem to have now been settled. And you may ask, how? And I can tell you, well, in a long-winded statement to the Federation, the Honorable Cleone Stapleton Simmons said in no uncertain terms that she would not yield her constitutional rights to coercion, and she reiterated her earlier demand to have a say in the selection of the NRP's opposition senator for the Nevis Island Assembly. And she said this on Valentine's Day.
Comprised of the opposition, and one cannot be appointed as leader of the opposition without the support of the other. At all material times, I have indicated that I fully support Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge to be the leader of the opposition. However, I did request that I would like to have a say in selecting the nominated member. I remain resolute that this was not a difficult proposal. Some may argue that the leader of the opposition has the right to nominate a senator. However, the member first has to be appointed as leader of the opposition. This, my dear citizens, is not an absolute right nor entitlement. It requires collaboration, consensus, and compromise. It is a give and take situation. As the elected member for Nevis 5, I am of the firm view that I must always have a voice on behalf of the people who elected me to represent them. And that voice should never be muzzled nor muted in any way. A decision so important as choosing a senator requires a democratic process. Although the St. Kitts and Nevis Constitution gives the leader of the opposition the right to nominate a senator, I am certain that the authors of same did not intend a unilateral approach to the said appointment. I am certain that they must have envisioned a holistic and inclusive approach. After all, St. Kitts and Nevis is a democratic country. I could not, in good conscience, support Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge to be the leader of the opposition before the first sitting of Parliament on January 19, 2023, because of the approach and the stance that she took in relation to the nominated.
And yes, I said it was long-winded. And she rambled on. And after being suspended from all organs of the Nevis Reformation Party by the executive of the said party, the opposition member retaliated with what I call a declaration of independence. She said this.
as an elected member of the Parliament and a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis and a justice of the peace, I have a legitimate expectation to natural justice and due process of the law, which I was deprived of by members of the Nevis Reformation Party. The general public is further advised that I intend to exercise every legal remedy available to me under the laws of St. Kitts and Nevis to ensure that justice is served. To the good people of St. Thomas's Parish, I wish for you to know that it was always my intention to serve you and the people of Nevis in a principled manner and with the highest level of integrity as your area representative. I pledge to do my best to continue to build St. Thomas's Parish and to advocate for changes that will help to enhance your standard of living and provide you with a more comfortable life. I will continue to serve you in the Nevis Island Assembly as an independent member of the opposition. I promise to continue to grow the Lowland Community Foundation.
She will continue to serve as an independent member of the opposition. How do you interpret that, my Straight Dog family? Has she walked away from the NRP? That's the view of many. And still in Nevis, our other observation addresses the political situation in that jurisdiction. And a release entitled Judge Hears Arguments to Strike Out Election Petition in Nevis and reserves his decision. And recall, my Straight Dog family, the two sitting ministers in the Nevis Island administration, the Honorable Mark Brantley and the Honorable Spencer Brand of the CCM, are named among the respondents in the election petitions filed by Mrs. J.D. Keynes and Dr. Patricia Bartlett of the opposition Nevis Reformation Party, unsuccessful candidates in the December 12 Nevis Island Assembly election. The NRP candidates filed the petitions in January 2023, challenging the results in Nevis 1, St. Paul, where the Honorable Spencer Brand defeated Ms. Keynes by 27 votes, and Nevis 2, St. John, where the Honorable Mark Brantley defeated Dr. Bartlett by 147 votes. Also named in the petition in the Electoral Commissions, Supervisor of Elections, Registration Officers, Returning Officers, and the Attorney General of St. Kitts and Nevis. Brantley and Brand applied to have the petitions struck out as null and void on the basis that they were filed after the 21-day requirement for filing of an election petition as prescribed in the National Assembly Elections Act of St. Kitts and Nevis. During the hearing, counsel for the petitioners and respondents proffered evidence in support of their claims, outlining their interpretation of the calculation of the 21-day margin. At the end of the proceedings, Justice Thompson Jr. informed that he will announce his decision on February 27, 2023, which will include a determination on the awarding of costs. So, that matter in Nevis is still hanging in the balance, and the judge, as we said, will make his determination in the matter come the 27th of February. Now, I drove around by the Ocean Terrace Inn, or I should say the former Ocean Terrace Inn, because I saw a sign posted or mounted saying MSR Hotels St. Kitts. And I want to believe that the MSR Hotels St. Kitts relates to the MSR Media Limited. I stand to be corrected. But if they have any relation with the MSR Media Limited, based on the company records in London, that's on the company house records in London, that's I should say, it's a public traded company, MSR Media Limited. If this hotel now belongs to MSR Media Limited, then there are still many questions to be answered by our own Prime Minister, Dr. Drew. Because we learned from Premier Brantley, for example, we learned from Brantley that Nevis or the NIA has contributed $400,000 each month since 2020. But Drew, or Prime Minister Drew, has been tight-lipped about the contribution from the Treasury in St. Kitts.
Mark Brantley, who is the Premier of Nevis, by the economy.
Yes, there is a financial arrangement with MSR. I believe the number is $150,000.
We are prepared to do 35 films over the next 5 years. Along with our development, we are finalizing the purchase of a hotel in St. Kitts so that we can have a base to produce and train people in St. Kitts.
Yes, and and as we have spoken before, that you will definitely have our support.
Prime Minister Drew promised, in his words, our support. Yes, he's speaking on our behalf. But what support is Prime Minister Drew giving to MSR Media Limited? The country has a right to know. Prime Minister Drew has been tight-lipped about the MSR Media Limited and many other things. He has been tight-lipped about the CBI passports. Although he touts transparency and good governance. But my Straight Talk family is obviously the new way and better day under Labour. Those are my observations in review for tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I hasten to embark upon my dissertation or my thesis tonight, which I entitled Crime plus Poverty equal Labour. Someone suggested to me it should have been the other way around. Someone suggested the reverse. It should have been Labour equal crime and poverty. But my Straight Talk family, it's crime plus poverty equal Labour. And today as I reflected, many parents are worried about taking their kids back to the Irish Town Primary School following the fatal shooting, following the fatal shooting of a 51-year-old security guard. Many parents are having profound thoughts about returning their kids back to the Irish Town Primary School. And that fatal shooting occurred on Valentine's Day, February the 14th of 2023. And following that day, this message was posted on social media by the Ministry of Education. Sorry, temporarily closed. Belatedly, Deputy Prime Minister Hanley spoke to the Federation about the closure.
Parents and guardians, kindly take note that we have closed the Irish Town Primary School for face-to-face instructions from today, Wednesday 15th, to Friday 17th February to allow our staff and students to receive compassionate care.
My Straight Talk family, contrary to what Hanley said, however, many of us would submit that just like the Joseph N. France General Hospital under the Douglas Labour regime, now schools under this Jew Labour administration will no longer be considered safe zones.
On Tuesday 14 February, after the close of school, a shocking, senseless act of violence unfolded on the premises of the Irish Town Primary School. This horrific crime has resulted in the death of one of our security officers. I am appalled at the callous disregard for human life and condemn all acts of violence. Our schools are safe zones where members of the school community should feel safe. Therefore, the Ministry of Education views this violent act as a direct attack on the education fraternity and the wider school community.
Yes, an attack on the educational fraternity and the wider school community. I concur. But I also submit that schools from here on can no longer be considered safe zones. But we can only pray, however, that peace, justice, and security will prevail in our beloved Federation. Now, prior to Valentine's Day, many residents, my Straight Dog family, have remained worried as well, and sadly so, about going into Uncle T's restaurant on Keon Street or the Chinese-owned grocery stores nearby. And this is the result of all these senseless shootings and homicides that seem to have come back under the Jew Labour government. 4 murders in the Federation in 5 weeks of this new year. 3 on St. Kitts and 1 on Nevis. And this, to many, has signaled a definite resurgence in crime. Meanwhile, and prior to assuming office, our Prime Minister strongly and wrongly criticized the peace initiative, which yielded positive results in the context of the Federation's safety and security during the 7-year tenure of Prime Minister Timothy Harris and his Team Unity administration. But upon assuming office, rather than attempting to enhance the program, Prime Minister Drew puts it to a cessation. He puts it on hold, like he have done many projects since coming to office, although we know that government is continuous. He stops it. And in the process, he has vilified those who helped to fix the problem of crime in the Federation with disparaging remarks like this one.
The peace program. Let's go through how the program is structured. One, the program was started before when the men came together and decided they did not want any more violence. Then the money was introduced. So they did not set up the program as a means to enhance the lives of most of these young men. The program started with 80 young men and then ended up into the hundreds, because then it started to be used just for political reasons. There is no long-term benefit for them. That is why we know that this program is in obscurity, and this program is really being used as a political tool by Timothy Harris. Nobody knows really where the money is going, and nobody knows how the money is being spent. We know that the money comes from the consolidated fund, it goes to the development bank, and then it goes down a tube. That most of the money is not going to the young men. They are being used as scapegoats, as a channel for the government to push money in dark places.
My Straight Talk family, it sometimes, or most times rather, saddens me. Because instead of consulting with the people whose responsibility is to deal with crime and violence, he snubs the National Security Advisor, for example, for months. And the National Security Advisor could have given the Prime Minister a crash course on the current disposition of the program. Major General Saunders, the National Security Advisor, could have assisted the Prime Minister to remove his grave and cockeyed political views of the peace initiative, as it is called. I am certain that Major General Saunders, whom I met, who I know, and whom I interviewed more than one occasion on this very Straight Talk program, I am certain that the Major General would have given Dr. Drew the genesis of the program. He would have told Prime Minister Drew the true stories about the creation of the peace initiative and the strategy employed way back in 2019. Instead of that, Prime Minister Drew vilified people and avoided speaking to those who know. Way back in 2019, this is what Major General Saunders would have told him about.
The strategy involved started on the 13th of March 2019, and it's commonly referred to, as you know, as the Peace Initiative. We started, first of all, with approximately 70 persons involved, and that quickly blossomed over time to some 800 persons today, roughly 16 months later. We offer quite a number of opportunities for the at-risk group. Project development, business opportunities, they can access loans. A lot of them are into apprenticeships at this particular moment in time. They are the normal work routines, learning trades, and for obviously educational opportunities and the like. Persons who have been on for some time and who have accessed these opportunities have now started to move off the program to take up or to spend more time in the actual business venture that they have adopted. And that is always a good sign, as it makes way for anybody else who might be interested in coming onto the program or who merits coming onto that particular program.
And Prime Minister Drew, had he spoken to Major General Saunders, he would have also learned from the National Security Advisor about these plans.
Looking forward or looking down the line, there's one particular aspect that we are at the moment trying to address, and it is a life skills training and exposure program. What we need to do is to ensure that we can equip these individuals to work properly within the workforce, understanding all the social skills that are necessary in order to make them more valuable citizens and to understand what obtains on a job, a normal job in society today. So in a nutshell, that's where we are right now, and we're looking forward to the continued support of the public in particular in ensuring that we can bring these persons, these members of the at-risk group, back into the normal fold of society.
And not only the public in particular, but the support of the minister and prime minister, minister of national security, I should say, and prime minister, is also required. It is therefore important to keep these at-risk youth inside the fold of normal society, and right-thinking citizens are pointing to what they consider the politicizing of everything in St. Kitts and Nevis. Everything is politicized by this new administration. The Jew Labour administration politicizes everything one can think about, including crime. Hence the reasons everyone believes for this sudden spike in homicides. The debate over the funding of the peace initiative and the propaganda that comes with it, if it is not stopped, it would only take the country back to those dark, dark days of crime and violence under the last Labour administration. The current spate of homicides or murders make us jog our memories way back to the frightening days of Douglas. Remember these, my Straight Dog family?
366 people have been murdered in St. Kitts and Nevis. 2005 it was 8 people died. 2006 it was 18. 2007 it was 17. 2008 23. 2009 27. In 2011 35 murders. 2014 24. 2013 23.
And my Straight Dog family, we ask the questions that many are asking. Would this Jew Labour government mean 35 or 36 murders once again? Many ask that question, but God forbid, I say. Many ask the question as well. Would this Labour government mean more robberies? Would this Labour government mean more break-ins? Would this Labour government mean more larcenies and more sexual assaults or rapes this year and beyond? These are pertinent questions. Would this Labour government mean greater possession of firearms and ammunition around the Federation? That's the stories we are hearing. More firearms and ammunition are being imported into the Federation. The statistics produced by the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force will no doubt answer those pertinent questions in time to come. Look at the poverty situation in the country, my Straight Dog family. The Jew Labour administration has not announced to date any clear objectives to reduce poverty amongst families. The Jew Labour administration has not announced to date any clear objectives to reduce poverty amongst single mothers and fathers, for that matter, with children. The Jew Labour administration has not announced to date any clear objectives to reduce poverty amongst our pensioners. Our pensioners have not received an increase for ages, yet the cost of living index goes up and up and up. And this, I submit, is a forgotten segment of our population, a forgotten segment or forgotten demographic. The Jew Labour administration has not accorded these objectives any priority. Pensioner poverty is on the increase in our federation, in lockstep with inflation and the cost of living increase. Meanwhile, there is a rising level of inequality within the bottom half of the income distribution, as the rich get richer and the poor gets poorer, as they are promised everything from affordable housing to more disposable income, a recharge economy, and a $500 minimum wage.
The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party will recharge and revolutionize our local economy. We will increase the minimum wage to $500 per week and introduce price control legislation to help you keep more money in your pocket.
And that's I said before, my Stray Dog family, Labour promised everything in opposition, but in government, they will deliver nothing. What are your reflections for the future, I ask? The fiscal climate is now very different under the Labour, unlike under the Team Unity administration. These are facts. We have to tell you the brutal truth. Welfare spending in the form of social assistance on the poverty alleviation program, especially after COVID-19, was distributed amongst all households that were in need. But in came the Jew Labour Party and promised to cut back on this program just as quickly as it increased. There were 7,000 persons on the program, and they accused the Team Unity administration of politicking, of politics, as it relates to the poverty alleviation program. Who would believe that in came the Jew Labour Party and a new minister who peddled the same old stories as Prime Minister Jew. But then on one occasion he said there were 12,000 applications. That reduced to 11,000. Then he went to 10,000. And now he has told us that 8,795 or somewhere about there, but almost 9,000 persons, which is 2,000 more than 7,000. But 9,000 persons have now qualified for the poverty alleviation program. But would you believe, my Straight Dog family, the minister, as I said before, has introduced the PAP school, I call it. Deputy Prime Minister Hanley called it a graduation. 8,000 people will have 6 months in which to graduate from PAP. That's what he said. Not my words. These are his words.
Each successful applicant will be allowed to spend 6 months or a maximum of 1 year on the program based on needs. Conditions for graduation of the program will be identified and determined through the implementation of case management and tracking.
My Stray Dog family, most of the currently detectable effects of the Labour policy on poverty rates would come through benefit increases. But Labour's legacy on helping the poor always proved to be fragile. Reflect on when hurricane devastated so many homes in St. Kitts. What did Labour do back then? They distributed tarpaulins. Sometimes they cut the tarpaulins in 2, sometimes in 4, and gave them away to their people. Tarpaulins were on houses for years upon years under Labour. But hurricane damaged many homes under Team Unity. And Prime Minister Harris introduced, without discrimination, an island-wide roofing program. And I remember this elder in Newton Ground who said this.
Everybody,
Nice, sir.
who live near and who live far. The whole community at the table of Team Unity, the followers, them, the members, and everybody, good night. Well, I am not talking about Corona. I am not talking about ships. I am talking and giving thanks for the roof that I get fixed from this community. I used to live in a house. I used to have 3 buckets in 1 chair. I could not sleep. I had to make a trip. This one full, we move. The other one full, we move when we went falling hard. I lying down at the time, I see in the sunshine. At night time, the moonlight coming through the roof. The pieces of roof, them dropping down like biscuit. And this government, Team Unity, put it just like I want it. That the first night, I sleep. I was asleep till the morning. The sunrise, I didn't say no. So, I come to the mic to thank Team Unity whole cabinet for the aggressive and their good work. For I couldn't afford to buy 1 pound of nail. 1 pound of nail I couldn't afford to buy. And the workmen, they work on Sunday. And people who get the house fixed in this village still grumbling. They ain't satisfied. And they ain't like Team Unity. They're abusing the Honorable Prime Minister every day, every minute, and some of them get the house fixed. When they come from work, they're good. They could see where I'm going and sleep and comfortable. But I am satisfied with the position, the ambition, and the what was called the big word again? The position, the ambition, and the power of the unity government that lifts St. Kitts up like a ship we're going down. And the next thing I'm going to say before I finish, how Mr. Harris ain't fighting behind the mic, firing the backs and kicking. Look how cool he talk. Nice and fun like a ice cream in the fridge. The other devil, we got the other backs people all over there, like he really saying kids. But I'm glad for this government. When I sleep comfortable, I eat comfortable, I live comfortable. Thank you all.
What's it? My Straight Dog family, that was a grateful elder from Labour Land in number 6, thanking the Team Unity administration and Prime Minister Harris in particular for the policy, the non-discriminatory policy, because every single family or household that had a problem right around the entire island got their roof fixed. Not tarpaulins, they got their roofs repaired. My Straight Dog family, there is uncertainty about the long-run effects of Labour's unknown policies. In these times of complexity, in these times of unpredictability, in these days of climate change, supply chain and other issues, food scarcity and other costs of living issues, water, electricity, our health issues, and the list goes on. My Straight Dog family, we all want progress. But progress would mean getting nearer to the place we want to be. Many of us would agree that last year, August, we took a wrong turn with Labour. And if we go forward, it would not get us nearer. Many of us would agree, and many have already concluded that we are on the wrong road. So to progress demands doing an about turn. And we have to think about the how. But to progress, we must take an about turn and start walking back to the right road. And in that case, those who turn back soonest will be the most progressive. My Straight Dog family, I'm scared because crime plus poverty equal labor. And that's my story tonight, and I'm not going to change it. I am going to open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. The numbers are 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. Those of you who may have joined me recently on the program, and I want to inform you. I want to inform you that freedom of expression is still alive in this country. I want to inform you that today the High Court lifted the injunction or restraining order on yours truly, Ian Patches Liburd. I wish to say tonight, my Straight Dog family, freedom of expression in St. Kitts Nevis is alive and well, and the separation of powers still exists. Remember a few weeks ago, I could not even use the word nanigate. If I said nanigate 5 weeks ago or in the last 5 weeks, I would have been cited for contempt of court. But tonight, I'll repeat, to God be the glory. God is the absolute judge. And I thank him from the bottom of my heart. I thank my legal team, in particularly Counsel Peter Foster, KC, King's Counsel, and instructing Counsel Terry Byron and the entire team. I thank all of you who prayed for me and sent me words of encouragement. Your support in whatever form meant so much to me. Someone said to me some time ago that leadership sometimes can find you in a lonely place. So to situations like the one that I had to endure for the last 6 weeks. But as I said to you, I beg you one favor. We are going to discuss this matter, the matter of the court injunction and all that pertained with it. We are going to discuss the matter on Monday. Tell Saul to tell Paul, tell your neighbor to tell your friend. Spread the word far and wide, all over St. Kitts and Nevis, all over the Caribbean, all over the world, especially in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora, because our freedoms of rights and of freedom are under threat. But we are now free to speak the truth. And I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I've always spoke the truth. And I've always implored you to speak the truth. But we've gone back to that situation in St. Kitts. That when you speak the truth, you have to be prepared to speak alone. or you have to be prepared, beg your pardon, to stand alone. But always speak the truth. And truth is the only defense to defamation. They had their plans, my Straight Talk family, but God has other plans. Lines are open, my Straight Talk family. Again, I want to implore you that I want to implore you, beg your pardon, to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourself. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things you say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines. It's now 9 minutes, 4 minutes, beg your pardon, past the 9 o'clock hour. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yes, thank God.
Thank you, Jehovah. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Yes.
My heart is relieved.
Thank you.
I am relieved, cuz. I am relieved. And as I tell you, you have your, what's the name, to back it up. So you don't have to worry. I told you so. You don't have to worry. It's not about.
True.
It's not about when I tell you already, you're a child of God, and keep up. Keep up with your godly spiritual work. Okay?
Thank you. Will do.
So, I am, yes, every morning I read 2 passages of scripture, one from the old, one from the new.
Mm-hmm.
So, God, He is good and He will be always by yourself. Just keep on holding on. Have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my dear cuz, and thanks a lot for the support as always and for the prayers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory, yes.
My heart is relieved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good night.
Thank you very much for your input. Coming there, I think that's from South Carolina. And South Carolina in the house. Many others are in the house. And just to inform you again, my Straight Talk family, our numbers are accessible as well via WhatsApp. Both the overseas number 646-829-6672 and or the local number 869-663-6672. They are both accessible via WhatsApp. Mr. Liburd reads this email, you know something? With all this mass dismissal, victimization, and forced retirement, with all this mass dismissal, what's going on here? I'm trying to get my screen cleared here, my Straight Talk family. Yes. With all this mass dismissal, beg your pardon, victimization and forced retirement that Dr. Joe and his government have exerted on supporters of the past Team Unity government must also be attributed to the 6 members who unreasonably broke away from Harris, Hamilton, and Byron. Although they were warned by Hamilton and others, the severe consequences that would follow with regard to their supporters, Hamilton was at pains to point out to them that many of their supporters, especially on boards, etc., were heavily dependent on that monthly stipend to help defray their expenses. They did not listen to Hamilton, or they did not listen to Hamilton's sound advice, beg your pardon, but rather chose to follow crooked and dangerous Mark Brantley that led them astray to where we are now at. What a burning shame, reads this email. This other email reads, my Straight Talk family, This new Labour administration has a penchant to insult and embarrass public workers and civil servants. It started out with Jeffrey when he insulted Mr. Hodge, the permanent secretary in education, in front of so many teachers and education officials, including Mr. Hodge himself, by announcing that he will be replacing Hodge with a new PS. Those teachers who shouted and applauded, I say shame on you, for Mr. Hodge was a great asset in that ministry, and I hope you will never ever register a note of complaint against his successor. Jeffrey, you have no respect for your seniors. Shame on you as well. And what you sow, you're bound to reap, reads that email. This other email reads that, Dr. Drew, you two need to have some respect for your seniors in government as well. Remember, Dr. Douglas had severely scolded and berated you when you attempted to overthrow and replace him as leader of the Labour Party. He said you were out of place and you don't know your place. Very strong words. You don't know your place, Dr. Joe. Whatever discussion you had with Governor Tapley Seaton should have never been brought out in the public domain. Talking about Sir Tapley had to beg you for extension of time to remain at Government House was shameful, unwarranted, unreasonable, and unjust. You have to be more tactful and pleasant, Dr. Joe, and less arrogant when dealing with the citizens, big and small. Let's go back to the lines at 10 past 9 o'clock. Caller, thank you for holding. You're live.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ian Patches Liburd.
Just say Patches.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Patches, your humble servant, is peaceful.
Yes, man. Is it because you're humble why your case make the right turn today? And I always tell people when they call me and they say, well, sure, why they doing this? And I say, listen, is God rule everything. And leave everything to God.
That's true.
Because God do not like wrong things. And he will deal with those who are consciously awake and realize what they are doing, it is wrong in the sight of man and in the sight of God. See, God come to and he heard the praise of all of us who pray for you.
Thank you.
And let me tell you, I spread in the word as far and as long as I can do it. I want everybody to know that you are on YouTube. So Monday night, God willing, we will hear a little strong wind blow through St. Kitts. And that will blow the feathers away from foul bottom. So everybody will see a foul little egg. Everybody will hear the truth. What they've been trying to hide and trying to muzzle your mouth from speaking the truth. And that is what have them. When people doing wrong, they do not want somebody who condemn their wrong to know. Because you know the person who condemn their wrong is going to tell them the wrong and then they're going to spread the truth. Now let me go to the little crime here. We know in the under Douglas administration, we know where those dear-fisted people with a gun went to kill people in up the hospital, in the emergency room. Pato Paula go in there. Man dead in there. And then they went in a business place and another Labour government again. Disrespectful of people's lives and people's rights. You can tell me in an eatery, they go kill people. What I tell them, they do not care. And down in a school, well, Molyneux School, the children could not go to school because there was a fire. And the children never being fearful of going back in that building because it wasn't any life-threatening thing. to nobody. It just happened the school burnt in the night and they went back to school without any trauma. But this last one here where people get shot down in a school, my children used to go here and thank God my children them done this school they big. Because if they were going there still with this thing happen, then I will have to move them and send them somewhere else up the village. Now the children them who know that what happened there in that school, they will be traumatized for life. Some of them. And some of those children who will be leaving that school soon, they will get over that. But what happening here with this crime now is like you have a dog and you already put the food in the bowl for the dog. And when the dog put the head in the bowl, don't trouble the bowl with the food until the dog move, otherwise you're going to bite you up. The peace money for the people them, it was not meant for them to take it and scandal it and drunk and gamble with it and work on negative things with it. The money was for them to elevate themselves, learn something that they could be the self-entrepreneur. Or you know, a guy from the peace money, he bought an arc welding plant and today he's doing welding with that. Thank God for Dr. Harris and the commissioner man from Jamaica and all those who took part in organizing that peace thing. So he saying everybody gonna scandal it. So when those on the opposite side drew and he cabal them, they criticize it, the program, criticize it, and they stop it and see what happen now. That like the dog when you put on the food, leave it, don't trouble it. They say everything gonna be different and everything gonna be better, but everything really different because everything is worse. $500 for minimum wage. Instead of minimum wage, it come to nothing wage. You stop the $500, and that is what will cause people to commit crime because the people not able to feed themselves and they pick me and pay the bills. And you stop that and expect things to go good. It ain't gonna work. So patches, let me let somebody else come in because me gonna let me little punch them and go back. I'll be back.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Culture, ironically, this email speaks to the radical culture. Yes, it reads, radical culture. I feel your pains and understand why you personally feel betrayed by Mark. Both of you developed a good political relationship on his show when you made a contribution. You created and sang calypsos to his enjoyment. It was a big joke for him when you busted. He would jokingly say, go and come again to complete your song. All of us were very much appreciative of you. I remembered one night you told him that rumors were circulating around that Mark was planning to break up Team Unity. And he denied it, saying, well, caller, why anyone would want to break up Team Unity? His response brought a great measure of relief to many of Unity supporters, only to find out later that Mark was the chief architect and catalyst in dismantling Team Unity. What a crooked traitor he is. So, Brother Culture, don't be dismayed. Let us keep the faith. God is in the midst. Reads this email. And yes, my Straight Dog family, let's take some other emails. This email reads, I am not surprised at the court's judgment. An ex parte application is reserved for emergency, not to stifle freedom of speech. There was no emergency to warrant an ex parte injunction, reads this email. Good night, Mr. Liburd. This other email reads, my first observation for tonight takes me back about 13 days when Jokey Drew said at his press conference that the current criminal activities in St. Kitts and Nevis is just a spike and not a trend, and he's not concerned because the police are reaping results. Patches, St. Kitts Nevis is currently having a vicious surge in gun violence, which are occurring mafia style. There has been no charges laid to date on anyone for the shootings where victims have been shot. But Joe says he happy with police results. What nonsense is Joe speaking? Joe needs to consult with people who are responsible for dealing with the crime situation in St. Kitts Nevis, such as Major Saunders. And yes, if he had spoken to Major Saunders, he would have told him quite a lot about the program, like this.
Looking forward or looking down the line, there's one particular aspect that we are at the moment trying to address. And it is a life skills training and exposure program. What we need to do is to ensure that we can equip these individuals to work properly within the workforce, understanding all the social skills that are necessary in order to make them more valuable citizens and to understand what obtains on a job, a normal job in society today. So in a nutshell, that's where we are right now, and we're looking forward to the continued support of the public in particular in ensuring that we can bring these persons, these members of the at-risk group, back into the normal fold of society.
And had he just spoken with the National Security Advisor, he would have been better informed. And this message is in reference to my earlier comment as well about the MSR Media Limited apparent purchase. Because if you drive around Fort Lands, you would recognize that formerly OTI, now MSR Hotels St. Kitts. That's the sign or the plaque we see mounted on the side of the wall. And I was reminded that, remember that the Ocean Terrace Inn had a loan from the SIDF, which in the amount of $7 million. And the loan has not been paid off, I am advised, unless the purchase and sale agreement between OTI and MSR Media has been concluded and the SIDF has been reimbursed from the proceeds of the sale. Now, if the loan has not been settled with the SIDF, then we ask the question, is Drew's administration planning to write off the debt and thereby show the government support for the MSR Media project? And these are the issues that we continue to raise. They tout so much, there's a lot of talk about transparency and good governance, but there's these state secrets. You know, the Prime Minister tells you nothing when you ask a question. And this is something being raised about that particular loan, which we understand was more than $7 million by year end 2022. In last year, the balance, we are told, was around $5 million. However, around the time of the sale in December 16 or so, the government wrote to the SIDF chair and demanding their files, which were surrendered post haste. And the sale was put off in December. So we don't know. The questions are being asked, what has become of that TDC SIDF loan? We know that this new administration has a penchant to write off things. We have not spoken recently about the $130 million possible write-off at the Christopher Harbour. And that included two loans. One loan from the SIDF and two loans from the National Bank. We are still following that story. I have not really brought it to the fore in recent times, but I can assure you we are following that story. In the event that any hanky-panky is done with the current, between the current managing director, who was then the CEO of the SIDF, Terence Crosman, we want him to know that we are following that Christopher Harbour story as we speak. Let's go back to the lines, caller. Thank you for holding. You're live.
A pleasant good evening to you.
Good evening, my dear, and how art thou?
How are you?
I am smiling just like you when I see your dimples.
Oh my God, I'm smiling too. Thank God. Oh, God bless.
No man curse.
No man curse.
Never, never.
And I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
On a job well done from that tornado for what's coming. But thank God you're free at last. And I hope you put in for cost, because they was asking for cost. So I hope you put in for cost too.
We'll discuss the entire story on Monday. Stand by. Tell your friends. Nothing bad for Monday.
Oh my God. Congratulate you.
Thanks a lot.
On all the people them that was with you, working with you.
Yes, thank you.
I say congratulate them and thanks for them and what's not. The full speed. Full speed. For what I don't know. Take your time, man. What for you, And what for parties is for parties. You don't go and just look at some heavy roll and believe that you could trample upon everybody. No. This here belongs to all of us. And we're supposed to say what we got to say. Not you want to put them lock on people. Nothing all of us are. I just congratulate you. I will be back.
Thank you very much for your intervention as usual and for talking plain but talking the truth. And that's what we want in this country. We want people to talk the truth. We're not going to be in a bully cup, as they say. People need to know, right? And the truth would be told. We are going to speak the truth each time, my Straight Dog family. This message reads, my Straight Dog family, hello, Patches, sir. Greetings from Suriname. It is a shame when any attorney general in any country sets about to use the machinery of the state and the court system to muzzle and intimidate the average citizen. It is a travesty, and you are to be commended. You are to be commended for having given him the bloody nose he has to get and the shame that now goes along with it. We, the natural-born citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, have a right to know the unvarnished facts and the truth in our country. Garth Wilkin can never suppress the spirit of your personality, not the force of your character, and today he learned a very painful lesson. The score is Garth Wilkin 0, Patches Liburd 1. Don't back down, sir. Never surrender to those who seek to hide the truth from the people. Let's go to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding. You're live. Hello, caller. I think we are... Okay, I think we lost that caller. Caller, you we can call back again. Yes, my Straight Dog family, the numbers are 646 829 6672. That's an overseas number, and as I said before, that you can access that number via WhatsApp as well. Both numbers are accessible via WhatsApp, my Straight Dog family. And like I said as well, we're going to spread the word. I want you to spread the word because everybody ought to hear what's going on in this country and the plans they had to muzzle and to suppress truth. Not lies, they were trying to suppress the truth. And you won't believe, you would not believe when you hear the truth on Monday. When you hear the truth on Monday, you would not believe what is happening in our country. When you hear them talk about integrity, good morals, good governance, they're not coming with clean hands, my straight dog family. They are not coming with clean hands. And he that comes for justice must come to her with clean hands. And we will tell you about that, my straight dog family. We'll tell you much more about that. Patches, good night. Many people calling for prayer for the nation. Prayer for what? Read this email. The wages of sin is death. Some of these crooked pastors who are agents of labor calling churches to pray for the government. Where were these pastors' prayers when labor had all the propaganda going around? Let's take this call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Mr. Patches. Hi, but how are you, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, this is the gentleman that met you down at the ferry terminal in December, man. Down there in St. You remember?
Oh, yes, from the USA? From the US of A?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's it. That's it, man. The one and only Burl Jones. That's correct.
Yeah, we're going across the channel.
Yes, definitely. From Cotton Gown, man. Cotton Gown. The cricketers.
Yes, that's correct.
The cricketers.
Yes. How are things with you, my brother?
Yeah, they're pretty good, man. The sergeant cricketers, man.
Yes. Cotton Ground produced.
It was Cotton Gown,
Livingston Sargent and others, and the wicked.
Yeah, that's my uncle. That's my uncle, man, and Everett Sargent. That's my cousin.
The wicket keeper, right? Was it?
Yeah, Everett Sargent, the wicket keeper. That's my cousin.
Right. Yeah. You did tell me so. I remember that. Yes, you did tell me that.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. Livingston Sargent. That's my uncle.
Yes, good to hear.
But it was nice. It was nice meeting you, man. It was nice meeting you. You know what I'm saying?
Likewise, my brother. We didn't have much time to exchange, our conversations.
Yeah.
But in time to come, I'm sure you will.
Yeah, definitely. But I just want to I just want to congratulate you on that case too, man, because it's very important. Is there any way you can cite the area in the Constitution just so that you can let people get educated, man, about freedom of speech and expression and stuff like that? Because this case was a serious case that this guy was trying to put on you, because, when you're trying to silence the public, and the citizens of the nation, that's not a good look for a Gigi, man. Attorney General, sorry. That's not a good look for an Attorney General. He got a big position in the legal system, and he should know that he's violating your personal rights, the freedom of expression and stuff. And, I just want to congratulate on that victory. And, we must not take these cases lightly, man, because if you get muzzled, then everybody else is at a risk of getting muzzled as well.
You better believe that, yes. Section 12. I'm sorry. Yeah, Section 12 in the Constitution.
Yeah, go ahead.
Section 12 in our Constitution, 12 subsection 1, speaks to the protection of freedom of expression. If you can go there, that's protected.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
Yeah, go
ahead.
Sorry, you can Google and find the Constitution online, the St. Nevis Constitution online, and go straight to it. All our fundamental.
Oh yeah, man! I got the Constitution in my phone, man. I got the Constitution at my fingertips, because, you should know by now. I'm very interested in the politics that's going on there. You know what I'm saying? And if it's just one issue that was holding me back from coming down and throwing my hat in the ring was the fact that I got a foreign passport, you know what I'm saying? And I never agreed with that a stipulation where you can't hold a foreign passport, because me as a natural born citizen, man, I don't see how I could be barred from coming back and making a contribution to my own country because I have a foreign passport, because it still will be equal playing ground if one side has a person who has that passport of a foreign country, then the other side can have an individual the same. So that don't hold no weight at all to me, man. You can't tell a U.S. citizen they can't run, a natural born U.S. citizen, you can't tell them they can't run for presidency of the United States. But, you know, foreign people that's coming into St. Kitts, they got more rights than me to contribute in politics. You know what I'm saying? And that can't be fair and that can't be right. You know what I mean? But, you know, we'll see if we can get that move to as well, man. But congratulations on that case again. And I don't know if you're going to say anything about what's going on over on the Nevis side tonight, but, you know, I wish St. Kitts and Nevis the best still going forward, all right?
Yes, my brother. Yes, we spoke earlier about the election petition, and the judge has reserved his decision until February 27th. There was a motion a petition to application, to strike it out because of the so on that. I mean, you've heard of the Honorable Cleon Stapleton as well, who has declared she's going to be an independent member on the opposition benches. It's interesting.
So then, therefore, with that said, right, they still would not have an opposition leader, and also that senator that there was at qualms of trying to get in place, that senator will not be in place, and the opposition leader will not be named as well, right? Is that correct?
It would seem so, unless Cleon would still support Janice Daniel Hodge, the Honorable Janice Daniel Hodge, which seems unlikely though. And she says she's going to be independent.
That means
it's unfortunate though.
So that means very unfortunate. So that means Nevis people have to pay attention to that, because when the parliament comes in the sessions, they wouldn't have a opposition leader, and it's just the opposition side. And that needs to be, paid attention to on the Nevis end. And different than that, man, the only one other thing I got to say, the crime that's creeping back up, I know when there's no jobs, it breeds crime, and I know they had some manufacturing jobs that left St. Kitts during the pandemic. Is the government going to try to bring back any of those sectors, in the near future to try to, keep the youths occupied? And that's my contribution for tonight, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your contribution as well. Always.
Have a good night, man. Thanks.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. Always good to hear those from the diaspora. I understand your predicament, your disposition rather, with the U.S. citizenship. Some people have renounced. I think Jeffers did that. Sean Richards and Lindsey Grant did that. So whether you want to make that sacrifice is another question. But the issue of the Cleon Stapleton matter is one of interest, and one of, it's rather unfortunate as well, and I recall that it was Peter Wickham that pollster or political scientist, I think is the right description, and Wickham referred to the situation as is obtained then as a level of political stupidity. I think he was a little harsh, but facts are facts. Sometimes the truth is brutal. But Wickham had this to say.
Her long-term political reality is very grim. My sense is that the NRP is the future of Nevis, because there certainly is a favorable swing, a favorable tailwind in their favor. So they're the future, and if she has determined that it is better for her to hitch her wagon to another star, a star which is on the decline, I would say that she demonstrated a level of political stupidity that would suggest that she was not worthy of promotion in the first place.
Yes, a level of political stupidity. Wow. Caller, thank you for holding. Hello, caller.
Okay, Patches. Yes, man. Radical culture is here. And I want to tell my partner there from Congo, good evening, sir. I always listen to you when you call in on other talk shows. Now, Patches, I would prefer that a cocoa-baked person spit in my face and hit me a kick in my rear end than to tell me a lie. I do not like liars. Because a lie can destroy an individual, never mind a whole country. Because once that lie passes through your ear and it gone in your brain, you can't come back out. But you could forget, you could wash off the spit off your face and you could forget the kick and move on. Now, the leader of the Federation, Mr. Joe, I mean, why he have to tell lie? Why? When he went in here first, you know the accusation where he gave to the farm administration, he said that they drained the treasury and the country is in the red. Well, the country was in the red when he said so, but he still went to New York with 15 of them. What if 15 of them went up there to do? What they went up there to do? Look, 15 investors to come to the country. And he said the country red, that's law number 1. And law number 2, he said the former prime minister with the CBI money, that the CBI money was choked in some kind of thing hole. You remember that day you played tonight? That again is a lie. The CBI money is what the former prime minister had to use to fix people's house roof and do all kind of things for people. Some of them houses were so old that the backer went to shove it and you went right to the house. And they get a new house. Many persons get new house out of the CBI money. So how we could say that the farmer government took the CBI money through some kind of a foreign hole. Now he said, with the country in red, how come he gonna say that the man the man who buy OTI hotel, he have the support of the country, his support? Did he have any consensus with us and tell us what's gonna happen with the country money? When he gonna say that we are supporting him? Well, he had no consensus with us, and so he is lying with that. But taking up the money and giving it to him, he ain't lying with that. That is what he gonna use our money for. To do foolishness, nonsense. And that is why he don't want to hush down patches from the 4 corners of the earth. They're trying to muzzle everybody in this country. They try it with me, but they can't stop me. Because this year here, September, which is my birth month, we'd make 45 years I've been calling in on radios. 45. I live all over the place, all up in Anchorage, Alaska, live and down in Houston, and anywhere I go. And they have an educational program. I call in, and it happens so that the moderator, they always like something about me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I am the brightest dunce out of the dunces class. But they cannot stop me. They cannot muzzle me. And as long as they know in this country here that you are not supporting them with LABOUR on your forehead, they mean you must not eat, you must not have no privilege for nothing. They try to muzzle you, but they cannot stop me. I am like you. It's a good thing you are such a determined person that when you used to go fishing and you smile and you get a sweep, you ain't catch nothing. The easiest fish to catch is a moray, and that's why you used to bring home and say you catch a fish. Because you're determined.
Why Cablo, easy to catch the moray, haven't you?
And I am like you. But let me time me short. I want everybody get to do. So I got one more punch to advertise your program for Monday. One more punch I'll come back with later. And it's gonna be quick. So see you when I come back.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your contributions. Patches, good night. Many people are calling for prayers for the nation. Pray for what? The wages of sin is death. Some of these crooked pastors like Leroy, who is an agent of labor, calling churches to pray for the government. Where was Leroy's prayers when Labour had all that propaganda going on? He and several suddenly don't have a problem with P.N. Jeffrey strutting around to all kind of churches as if the church is a department of the government. Leroy and Isaiah worked with Labour during the elections and now sucking Labour breasts. Look at what all their family are getting now. They used to talk about propaganda in their church, even against other churches and pastors. Now they can't see nothing's wrong and talking about let's pray. They abused Tim when he said fast and pray. And now say let's fast and pray for the crime. Hypocrite they be. Reads this email, beg your pardon. Mr. Liburd, good night. My second observation for tonight takes me back to late November 2022 when Jeffrey Hanley announced the mending of PAP. Where there is poverty, there will be crime and prostitution. These social strains are consistent with Labour governments. Imagine single struggling mothers with minimum wage who were benefiting from the poverty alleviation program to help care for their kids and are left out in the rain to suffer under this Labour government. Padres, I'm sorry to say, but prostitution is also emerging as these single mothers are willing to do anything to feed their children in a sense of desperation, reads this email. Now, Patches, don't expect to get no airtime from WinFM. The directors are the Celtic Wilkin boys, and the general manager's son got head teacher at Basseterre for the part they played in the elections. Well, he's not the general manager anymore. I just correct that. I know who you're speaking about, but that's something I think has moved on. Patches, good evening. I am here again, and as long as this show is taking place, I'll be sending you information until this is done. Patches, this is another day, and still the staff at the ICT department has not heard from the Honorable Congress Maynard. Imagine Congress's auntie, who is his permanent secretary, is just a few weeks away from celebrating her 60th birthday, and Dr. Joe, Congress and Labour has now resorted to signing off on another contract for her, giving her more powers to frustrate Labour people. Now, Patches, imagine the woman who is Congress's auntie and permanent secretary worked under Unity and was the peers to Akila Byron Nisbet, and she behaved as though she answered to no one at the time. Well, Patches, if she was behaving so under Unity and Akila, well, how we expect her to behave now that her nephew is the Minister of Government? Well, one day Akila put her in her place, and since that time she undermined Akila and was part of having Akila lost her seat. Now imagine Dr. Drew and Congress's campaign, and Congress campaigned and said, let's get rid of them. Well, the staff at ICT voted overwhelmingly for Labour to get rid of Congress's auntie, but apparently they voted the opposite way to keep her there. Now, when Dr. Harris was there, Congress campaigned and said that family members of Harris in high positions were practices of nepotism. Now, what is the difference with Congress's auntie? Isn't it the same patches? What about the conflict of interest? Are they not the same? Now, his auntie has no manners and respect for her staff. And just a few weeks ago, she called a worker illiterate in front of other staff and outsiders who were visiting at the time. Imagine that, calling staff names. Patches, every time she sends a directive to the staff, they ask for it in writing because she has no memory and she remembers nothing. If Congress thinks his auntie has his best interest at heart, he will learn just like Aquila did. Patches, I want you to let Jew and Congress know that if something is not done urgently to remove Congress's auntie from ICT and posts for her frustrating and harassing the workers and keeping them down because of her own selfish and arrogant ways, they would be in for a rude awakening and they will definitely be taught a lesson, reads that email. Good night, Patches. Congratulations on your victory in the court. I'm so proud of you, Mr. Liburd. You have given the people of St. Kitts and Nevis hope with this victory. Thank you for your support, my Straight Out family. Hello. Good evening, Mr. Liburd. To God be the glory. Great things he hath done. Congratulations on getting your freedom back. Our prayers have been answered. Please continue to stay safe. And the Bible verse about humility is Matthew 23, beg your pardon, verse 12. Oh, you see, that's the beauty of our Straight Talk family. They always are always on the ball. And yes, Matthew verse 23:12 reads, and whosoever, this is the King James Version, whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself, beg your pardon, shall be exalted. This is the King James Version again. Whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. What words of wisdom, my Straight Dog family. As we wind down, I'll get dispense of all these emails. Patches, congratulations on your victory in the court. It is a victory for all of us. What the aged did is sickening, and he should resign forthwith. But we know they will never call for his resignation because Jew and Jeffrey worse than him. And you know, the famous AG had this to say, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, was it? I think, yes. He had this to say yesterday. The AG is not going to change. He said this.
Ignorance is bliss. It's like I was a regular, ordinary citizen just thrown into this Alice in Wonderland kind of space, which I wasn't familiar with. And I'm now 6 months later just getting accustomed to it. Nobody elected me. I have no problem being the bad guy because let me tell you, what I am trying to do is to change the course of certain aspects of our democracy. And whenever you change in the course of a moving train, it's going to shake up some people. You know, I have no problem being the person that causes that shake up. This world is not black and white. Right? There's all different colors and all different complexity, and it's going to upset some people.
And that's his latest rant. He has no problem being the bad man. I want you to listen to that again, my Straight Dog family.
Ignorance is bliss. It's like I was a regular, ordinary citizen just thrown into this Alice in Wonderland kind of space, which I wasn't familiar with. And I'm now 6 months later just getting accustomed to it. Nobody elected me. I have no problem being the bad guy because let me tell you, what I am trying to do is to change the course of certain aspects of our democracy. And whenever you change in the course of a moving train, it's going to shake up some people. You know, I have no problem being the person that causes that shake up. This world is not black and white. Right? There's all different colors and all different complexity, and it's going to upset some people.
Has no problem being the bad guy. I rejoice with you on the decision handed down by the court in your favor. Reads this email. Thank you. Garth Lucian Wilkin, it continues, is the only one shaking in his boots. Probably he doesn't know what sweet sleep is. He is the bully who took away the toy from one less fortunate than himself, only to look up in the face of another bully, miring ruthless for him. Now he runs home to mommy for condoling. His arms are now too painful to pick up and beat his chest. I admire culture for his faithfulness in being available to help lift your hands up and always ready to help keep the show going when others are hesitating or having difficulty to call in. Denzel Douglas, the father and investor of lies, has no shame. He is busy plagiarizing on the new pier built by Team Unity and stealing all the credits for the shoes that are now come in, the ships that are now coming to be berthed by the pier. The labor hypocrites are also giving Marsha Henderson all the credits for a job done by others. It takes years to negotiate bringing a cruise ship into any country. Marsha, are you so shallow that you cannot pave your own way? Stop riding on the coattail of others and stealing what is not yours. Dr. Joe makes me cringe every time he opens his mouth to spew his lies. He has sunk lower than Bradshaw with his vindictiveness. He is a small little man wrapped in a big piece of bubble wrap and needs to be deflated. Dr. Joe and Denzel Douglas has taken pages from Cuban communism and is slowly strangling the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. However, he will not get any easy pass like Bradshaw, and will soon find out he cannot dance with wolves. Your show is well watched, and I urge you to keep on doing a good job. Do not apologize for anything you have said that is true. Keep on letting the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob lead you as your broadcast is beamed around the world. I admire your tolerance and your fairness in allowing everyone to have their voice heard. However, never let fools dominate your program. Stay strong, Mr. Patches. There are more with you than you can see. Thank you very much for your support. My Straight Talk family, it's 3 minutes before 10 o'clock. I'll perhaps take one more call or two if they are guided by the rules of brevity. I know we are not, many of our listeners are not hearing the program on radio, but we'll get over that hurdle sooner rather than later. Let's go to the lines. Caller, you're live. Oh my. Okay, we seem to have... Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller?
Yeah. I'm here. You here?
Yes, you're live.
Okay. No patches. We all hear what that man the bully Garth Wilkins say. He have no problem being bad man or whatever it is. Well, I could tell he. Hello?
Yes, you're live. We're hearing you. Go ahead.
I could tell you after Monday, God's willing, he gonna know if he's a bad man or a team man. Because me gonna lego all the alphabet them in the world. In all the letters in the alphabet and expose him. Because he's accusing people. He's accusing people of what the same problem that he got and you want to throw them on other people. But it ain't gonna happen so because the whole world gonna hear you Monday. And me culture here will never afraid to open me mouth. I used to call into Larry King live 2002 before I leave St. Thomas. I went back up in America. And me could call in on Larry King. Me could call in on any radio. I am here for you. And God is going to put another radio station in St. Kitts that you can use. And I know where they are, and I will tell you where they are. Have a good night, Patches. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well for your intervention, right? And thank all for your. I'm reading this Facebook message here. Forgive me. People know what he means when he says that, whatever that means. But thank you, my Straight Dog family. And as we wind down tonight's programming, I want to reflect on our discussion tonight. And tonight, our dissertation we entitled Crime plus Poverty equal Labor. And I made the point that many parents are worried about taking their kids or their kids going to school or taking their kids, in fact, back to the Irish Town Primary School following that fatal shooting of a 51-year-old security guard on Valentine's Day. It was a sad sight to see that woman lying on the ground, a gunshot wound. Belatedly, Deputy Prime Minister Hanley spoke to the Federation about it. He said this.
Parents and guardians, kindly take note that we have closed the Irish Town Primary School for face-to-face instructions from today, Wednesday 15th, to Friday 17th February to allow our staff and students to receive compassionate care.
My Straight Dog family, I'm at variance though with Hanley. Because just like the JNF General Hospital under the Douglas Labour regime, remember gunmen went in to the hospital and started firing guns. They killed a man just outside the emergency room at the hospital. That's why we had to get armed security at the hospital. Now schools under this Jew Labour administration can no longer be considered safe zones, as Hanley is trying to intimate.
On Tuesday 14 February, after the close of school, a shocking, senseless act of violence unfolded on the premises of the Irish Town Primary School. This horrific crime has resulted in the death of one of our security officers. I am appalled at the callous disregard for human life and condemn all acts of violence. Our schools are safe zones where members of the school community should feel safe. Therefore, the Ministry of Education views this violent act as a direct attack on the education fraternity and the wider school community.
My Straight Dog family, we hope and trust that peace, justice, and security will prevail. These schools are no longer safe zones under this Jew Labour administration. And prior to Valentine's Day, many residents throughout the country have remained worried about going into Uncle T's. Uncle T's has been around for over 50 years. And Terence, my heart is with you. Many persons are concerned and worried about going into these Chinese-owned grocery stores nearby or shops nearby, period. And this has only resulted from these senseless shootings and homicides that seem to have returned under the Jew Labour administration. 4 murders in the Federation in the past 5 weeks, 3 on St. Kitts and 1 in Nevis. And this has signaled a definite resurgence in crime. Meanwhile, and prior to assuming office, the Prime Minister strongly criticized the peace initiative. The Prime Minister has said nothing about crime. He has said nothing to the victims' families. But my straight dog family, we need to pray. Upon assuming office, rather than attempting to enhance the program, Prime Minister Joe puts a cessation when he got into office on the peace initiative, using disparaging remarks about those who were responsible for it. Instead of consulting with these people, he snubbed the NSA, he snubbed the Commissioner of Police, I understand as well. But I know these are professionals. Had he learned the true stories about the creation of the peace initiative and strategy employed way back in 2019, he perhaps would have taken a different approach to his view on crime.
The strategy involved started on the 13th of March 2019, and it's commonly referred to, as you know, as the peace initiative. We started first of all with approximately 70 persons involved, and that quickly blossomed over time to some 800 persons today, roughly 16 months later. We offer quite a number of opportunities for the at-risk group. Project development, business opportunities, they can access loans. A lot of them are into apprenticeships at this particular moment in time. They are the normal work routines, learning trades, and for obviously educational opportunities and the like. Persons who have been on for some time and who have accessed these opportunities have now started to move off the program to take up or to spend more time in the actual business venture that they have adopted. And that is always a good sign, as it makes way for anybody else who might be interested in coming onto the program or who merits coming onto that particular program.
So if Prime Minister Drew refrains from politicizing everything, and one is now thinking, because of his politicization of everything, hence the reasons for this sudden spike in homicides. My Straight Dog family, we ask the questions. Would this Jew Labour government mean 35 or 36 murders once again? We say, God forbid. Would this Labour government mean more robberies, break-ins, larcenies, and more sexual assaults or rapes this year and beyond? Would this Jew Labour government mean greater possession of firearms and ammunition around the Federation? The statistics produced by the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force will no doubt answer those pertinent questions in time to come. Poverty. Look at the situation in our country. The Jew Labour administration has not announced to date not one clear objective to reduce poverty amongst families, amongst single mothers in particular, and fathers for that matter with children. Also amongst our pensioners, who are referred to as a forgotten segment of our population. The Jew Labour Administration has not accorded these objectives as any priority. Pensioner poverty is on the increase in our country, in lockstep with inflation and the cost of living increase. Meanwhile, there is a rising level of inequality within the bottom half of the income distribution. My Stray Dog family, what are our hopes for the future? When the fiscal climate is now different under Labour, unlike under the Team Unity administration. Welfare spending in the form of social assistance under PAP, especially after COVID-19, was distributed amongst all households that were in need. But then came the Jew Labour Party. They cut back and promised to cut back on this program just as quickly as it increased. And now they're talking about graduation. My Stray Dog family, there's uncertainty about the long-run effects of Labour's unknown policies in these times of complexity and unpredictability, climate change, supply chain and other issues, food scarcity, beg your pardon, and other costs of living issues, water, electricity. But my Stray Dog family, we all want progress. But progress means getting nearer to the place where you want to be. We have taken a wrong turn with Labour. And if we go forward, it would not get us any nearer. My Stray Dog family, progress demands an about turn and walking back to the right road, and in that case, the man who turns back soonest will be the most progressive man. Don't forget, on Monday, our special edition on the Nannygate issue. Remember, we had a restraining order when I tagline my program, Let's Investigate Nannygate, a True Story. Well, today, the court lifted that restraining order and we will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell your family, come Monday, we will tell you all that you never heard. We will tell you all that they tried to suppress. The truth. The truth was under attack here in this country. But my Stray Dog family, we will tell you on Monday all the facts about this young man who comes to justice, but he never came with clean hands. My Stray Dog family, freedom of expression is still alive. I explained that the ex parte injunction was made when Garth Lucian Wilkin applied for an injunction and asked for a hearing without informing me. But after 5 weeks, my fundamental rights and freedom are guaranteed and not suppressed by the young man, many years my junior in business, in politics, and or in government. Suppressed by this young man who for the last 6 months has continued to display a sense of youthful exuberance and arrogance as the Federation's principal legal advisor. Let's discuss that on Monday, my Stray Dog family. But my time is done and I will run. And I will say to you my Straight Talk family, that crime plus poverty equals to labor. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to thank you, the callers, those who sent emails, the thousands of you that listened all over the world, and in particular here in St. Kitts, irrespective of their ban on Win FM. Remember, all of you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's willing, and we'll connect on Monday for that special program on freedom of expression and nanny-gates. Remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, my Straight Dog family, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you to the night. And my Straight Dog family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday, let's have a discussion. Let's talk the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, my Straight Dog family. Bye-bye.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. My way, with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me